Hello, everyone. Welcome. It is late Thursday night. Welcome. It is time for Revolutionary Change. I'm Jen Perelman.
I don't know what my name is. Hi, how are you?
Good. Long time no see.
Yeah. Better now with pizza.
Well, yeah.
Was it good pizza?
So far, I've got to tell you, I am so unimpressed. Every time I come to this city, I'm less and less impressed. I have not found any food here, and I've been here multiple times, that is anything special. Like their best food here, I don't think could compete with most best food places. I don't know. I find this very lacking.
I don't agree. I think it depends on where in DC you are. I think the heart of DC, you're not going to find the good stuff. There's places in Georgetown, for example, that are really good, and then you're.
But when you say good, and there are good restaurants here, but nothing for affordable prices.
No.
So right. So that's what I'm saying. There's nothing decent here that's not outrageously expensive.
No, DC is not like New York or Chicago, where you have these hole-in-the-wall places that have been around for a long time. Deals of the day, that type of thing, the type of ethnic food where you could get it for a reasonable price. Although I will say that I did get the lunch that I had in the Hawthorne building of Capitol Hill yesterday was actually really good. It was a good salad, and it was $10. So that was the rare find, if you want to call it that. But then again, the type of volume that they're probably doing in that room more than justifies it. So it's really not that hard when you consider what I think, as much as anything, when we think about the silos that we live in the political arena, the thing that you take away when you really get into the heart of the day-to-day operations of our federal government is that there are thousands upon thousands of people on any given day that are walking the halls, that have their causes that they're there fighting for. Most of them are corporate special interests for sure. The other thing that I noticed, as I'm sure you did too, is that.
Why would somebody think I'm lactose intolerant? Did I ever say that? I am not lactose intolerant. Anywho. Sorry, back to talking about the very important mission of walking the halls of congressional staff. Yeah.
If you guys want to know why the Zios has such a stranglehold over our country, and we're going to get into those details. I know you have a story that you want to share, but I would definitely.
I have a few stories, but I have a few stories. I'm not sure which one you're referring to.
Well, what I was going to say is, if you guys want to understand why Israel has such a stranglehold over our country, it's because they got these little shitbag Zios running around the halls all day long, and they are everywhere. I mean, they're everywhere. Like, the Zios roam the halls of Congress all day, every day, and they're everywhere. So that's a big part of it. And when you are with a group of Palestinian doctors or those that are supporting the Palestinian cause, they basically get as many people as they can get together once a month. And it was a great effort. There was at least, I would say, 300 people that went in with us. And, we either went in various groups or split up amongst themselves, etc. But money talks and justice walks. And I said to everybody that I was there with, whether it was Jen or anybody that we had the pleasure of meeting, that when you are walking in the halls of the Senate, in the halls of the House, or just on Capitol Hill in general, it seems to me like every other person is a lobbyist, and a corporate lobbyist at that. They're all there lobbying for some cause, including one such instance where I happened to run into a weapons manufacturer group. There's about a dozen of them, and I just happened to ask the guy because I had heard what they said they were doing. And I just asked him, so what's your company about? He looked at me stone-faced like he couldn't answer my question. What's the matter? You can't talk about the thousands upon thousands of people you're blowing up every day and making a profit off of it? Yeah. They never get confronted. That's the thing. So when somebody actually asks them, hey, what is it that you do again? They're always hesitant about that. But I know that there were some things that you really wanted to hit on first before we really dive into
Well, I found the entire process to be a complete waste of time. I seriously, I had questioned whether or not going and trying to talk to representatives was valuable. It isn't. It's a complete waste of time. First of all, none of those people who are our employees, and make no mistake, those are our employees. They're extremely insubordinate. So most of those employees don't even see fit to meet with us personally, right? Like, you only get to meet with a staffer, and sometimes it's just the person who picks up their mail. Okay? This is how seriously they take meeting with constituents. They don't care. They don't care about us. They don't care about organizations. All they care about are their investment portfolios and their next job. That's it. That's all these people care about. They do not care. I felt like I will never get those hours back to my life. I think trying to talk to congresspeople is a complete waste of time. The amount of I stand with Israel signs, all of their ridiculous nonsense outside their offices, like who they're friends with and what it reminded me of junior high school. And I am leaving this trip with two things, really. Well, one, that's a complete waste of time, but also I will never be back in this city. This will be the last time I'm ever in DC. I think it is a vapid, soulless, concrete, although not concrete, because we like to mine the granite and marble from all over the world to build our giant monoliths that make it 90 degrees here because there's no trees. It is a vapid and soulless place that is perfectly representative of this country.
Yeah.
So if you want to waste your time and walk through halls of completely bought off corporate whores and try to beg them to do the job that they're supposed to be doing, then by all means, go spin your wheels in Washington. This government is shit. This country is shit. And I cannot wait for it to fall soon enough. That I am leaving here just so hoping that we are finally on our downfall, because this just is ridiculous, vapid and ridiculous.
So I put together a compilation of all the clips that I took the other day, and then Ben worked his magic. So here's a little taste of what we experienced yesterday throughout the day in DC. We're here at Doctors Against Genocide, the rally that has begun. It's going to be an all-day affair on Capitol Hill, so we'll update you as we go forward. Lots to cover.
The Prime Minister himself is being sought and to be arrested by war crimes against humanity by the International Criminal Court. This Defense Minister, I'm sure there are many of their government are secretly being sought for war crimes. Why are we still supporting this country? Why are we defending this country?
As healthcare workers, we are trained to act before death becomes inevitable. We do not wait for mass graves. We intervene when the warning signs are clear.
And I've talked to so many people that say when they fill it out, they're always wondering, God, is this going to be used to kill another child? We already know our government is committing war crimes in Iran, massacring young schoolgirls, and then lying about it. The president is threatening genocide against the Iranian civilization. Donald Trump already asked for $200 billion more for his unlawful war on Iran.
Hey guys, we are out here on Capitol Hill with, as you can see, Doctors Against Genocide. At least I would say a few hundred people have shown up to this, and we're heading to Capitol Hill now. Jen, what's your take so far?
I'm impressed. There's a lot of white coats here.
Yep.
A lot of good speakers. It's very depressing. A lot of doctors talking about their experience in Gaza. Also, we need to further address Sudan.
Yes, we do.
And that's what's going on here. And my representative was just sworn in this morning, so I'm going to go introduce myself to Clay Fuller.
To the Hill we go. We'll give you some more updates as we go forward.
This is our Doctors Against Genocide. We're sick of genocide, and it's Genocide Awareness Month, so we're here to advocate for human rights. No more bombing hospitals, no more bombing children. We here are upholding the oath that we took in medicine to do the right thing, to save lives.
So the experience so far has been as expected. Most of the representatives are corporate bought, but did meet Congressman Massie. He was a hell of a gentleman. We're going to still try to get him on the podcast. We'll see what happens.
The only representative I met was Rosa DeLaura, and she was nice enough. She's 83. She's been there since 1991. And I thanked her because she was the person who kept Debbie Wasserman Schultz from being chair of appropriations. I thanked her for that. She got a chuckle out of it, and that was it. And the only reason we met her is because she happened to come into the office while we were there. But I walked around with the Georgia delegation, and we met with Ossoff's foreign policy person. And it was like, you'd have better luck just talking to a wall, because they talk to you, but it is so clearly just compulsory. It is so clearly like they're just checking the boxes. They're not listening to you. They do not care what you're saying. They don't care at all. They sit there for their allocated amount of time. You say what you say, you leave. They give you some peanuts because the Georgia delegation all has peanuts in their offices. That's basically it. If anybody is thinking in any way, shape, or form that anything can be solved in this country via our political system, any sort of faux sense of democracy, speaking to your representatives, it's gone. I don't know that it was ever there, to be honest with you, but it's not there now. So we are, as far as I'm concerned, we're in a free-for-all. This is a completely defunct, non-functioning republic. There is absolutely nothing here that functions other than red tape and bureaucracy. That's it. Also, the Uber drivers are shit here. Yeah, I want to say I don't recommend. No recommend.
So I made a couple of moves, as I often do, and I was able to get to Bernie's office and score a pass when Bernie gave his speech last night. I had to get in there early because of the restrictions about when they can get in and when they can get out. It closes after a certain time. So here's what I can tell you about that whole experience, which was interesting. Bernie was supposed to give his speech at 5 p.m. He ended up giving it at 5:30. So I was in there for an hour prior to him speaking. And what I can tell you is that probably around 4:45, there had to be anywhere from 20 to 25 little Zio fuckers that found their way in there with their passes. Some was part of some group called CVC, which I've never heard of before. But you could tell that these were all pro-Israel hacks that found their way into the Senate into the Senate chamber. And so I don't know what they were going to do when Bernie ultimately spoke, but they all ended up leaving because I think they didn't think he was either going to speak or they didn't want to wait. So they weren't just waiting around to hear him talk. Couple things to take away. Listening to Elizabeth Warren give speeches like she's in front of 1 million people is hysterical, and in not such a good way. Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, I shit you not, used basically 15 minutes of his speaking time to talk about how great of an idea it was to attack Iran and how going to war with them is wonderful. We absolutely should have done it. And I can give you all the reasons in the world why we are fighting them right now. And it is a really, President Trump was absolutely spot on. You know what it's like? It's like giving Charlie Manson a nuclear weapon. Would you give Charlie Manson a nuclear weapon? This is how they talk. This is nothing new.
Yep.
So,
Fuck Schumer. Fuck Schumer.
Yeah, so I want to touch on a couple of things. So I had to listen to Mark Kelly from Arizona give his speech. He ultimately ended up voting for Bernie's bill. But listening to him talk about how Israel's our greatest ally, Israel has a right to defend itself. He is married to Gibbards. I forget, I'm forgetting her first name, the one who got shot.
Tulsi Gabbard?
No. The former congresswoman in Arizona.
Gibbard, whatever.
Yeah. The point is that his wife is like best friends with Wasserman Schultz. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he spoke like that. Then I noticed Bernie getting to his lectern and he's about to talk. And he looks over at Mark Kelly and says, Mark, I just want you to know, did a really good job. Did a good job. Mr. President, I am here tonight to let everybody know that we have to remember that October 7th was a terrible day. At least 1,200 innocent Israelis were killed and hostages were taken. But the on the lack of proportion in attacks that have come on ever since then, we have to pass a bill that does not allow Israel to get these weapons anymore. And so guess what? They did their little grandstand. They had their vote. And you know who decided to vote against this bill? Rand fucking Paul decided to vote against it. You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? It means that even if you got close to 50 votes, 51 votes, there will always be somebody who will vote against it, so it can never pass. That's how it works.
The other moral of the story is Fetterman is the absolute complete biggest piece of shit that there is.
Yeah. Well,
that was another thing I gathered from this little thing. Yep.
And of course, it's the Netanyahu government. That's the reason why all these things are terrible. No, Bernie. It's because Israel exists. And I don't know about you, but I kind of got the vibe in that room that might have been a lot of liberal Zionism, shit-libbery going on in there.
I wasn't where. I don't know where
we were this evening.
I went up and introduced myself to the rabbi. And and just so people have a frame of reference, we went to an event tonight. I would show you the book, but it's holding up. I have it stacked under my computer, so I can't hold it up.
Mine's on my suitcase right now.
Oh, okay. So we went to a discussion at a synagogue, and it is a book that is The Future is Peace. And the two authors, one is a Palestinian and one is a Jewish Israeli. And they actually went on this trip together over 8 days and wrote about it. And they both have suffered a lot and they have become very good friends. And it's just, it was a very interesting discussion. But the point of the story is I was wearing a keffiyeh in a synagogue, which was really kind of interesting. It was very interesting. And I went up and I said hi to the rabbi, and he did intimate to me that they were not an anti-Zionist congregation, but they certainly were very welcoming to Palestinian voices, just given what I saw there. So anyhow, it was very interesting. I'm going to try to get these two authors. Yes, they were on Jon Stewart, Josie. Yes, they were. They were talking about that experience. They were amazing. It's Aziz Abu Sarah and Moaz Inan. I know I keep it because the book is on, but I want to try to get them on the show to talk about this. And by then I will have read the book. But it was really interesting. The Israeli man, Moaz, his parents were killed on October 7th of 23. His parents were murdered. And Aziz, his brother, was tortured and killed by the IOF in detention before October 7th. So they have both been on this recovery healing road. And it was very hard for me not to sit there and feel very unilaterally one-sided. And I definitely have a lot of follow-up questions, which is why I want to bring them on the show, because it's hard to not make it be a sides thing when we know that 80-something% of the Israelis support the elimination of the Palestinians, right? So it would be one thing if we didn't know that. Then we could sort of say, oh, yeah, there's good. I have some questions. I did go up and speak to one of these gentlemen yesterday. But as you guys know, I believe that's the Neturei Karta, I forget the name of their sect, the Hasidic sect. But yes, they have always been anti-Zionist. It's always been because it's a violation of the Torah. The existence of a Jewish state is a violation of the Torah. So they are against it.
So
yeah, Neturei Karta. That's what it is. Yeah.
I would say the most positive takeaways are several of the people that we met, including this lovely lady who is from Sudan.
Yes, that lady right there in the long cream color cardigan, the hijab lady right there. She spoke we're going to get her on the show. She knows all about what's going on in Sudan. Yeah. So we definitely need to talk with her.
When I was in the Senate halls and I was talking to this guy who was could tell he's a pretty well-off businessman, and he was going to see Senator Peters, and he asked me he was asking why I was here. I was like, well, I'm actually here because of what's going on in Gaza. he said, "Oh, is that the only genocide you care about?" So he was trying to like throw a gotcha at me. I said, "Actually, no. I actually care about all genocides, including the one going on in Sudan." And he was a little surprised. He actually thought I was like some person he could push around, because this is again what uber capitalists like to do is, "Oh, so you only care about this one, huh? Don't you feel bad about what's going on over there?" And the other thing I forgot to tell you that I didn't mention to you, I'll mention here in front of the audience. When I was going up to Bernie's speech, I was in the elevator with a woman and her two sons, and I thought she was speaking Russian, and I just happened to ask her, "Where in Russia are you from?" She gave me this look of like, if I had a gun right now, I'd blow your fucking brains out. I am from
Yeah, because she's
Ukraine.
probably Ukrainian. Why would you Peter, that's like asking a woman if they're pregnant when you're not 100%. You know what I mean? Like, don't do that.
Okay. Again, like I was saying, it sounded Russian, and that's not.
Because they're close, aren't they? They're very
Yeah.
close.
Well, that's shout out to JB. We had the chance to meet him at the rally yesterday.
Yes.
Nice shot. So
It's James.
James.
Guys, that's James from our chat who came out, and we got to meet him.
I'm thinking about becoming president one day.
Oh my God, is that your blue steel? Like, what is that? Like,
Well,
blue steel?
Well, if I ever run, I'm going to use that as my photo. So I don't know. We've had these conversations about what should I do? Should I not do? All I know is I just want to make whatever impact I can and use whatever leadership capabilities I have to try to do the most for the most amount of people. I think that's that should be our primary goal. And as you and I have talked about,
I will say I don't see any answers in participating in politics. That's not going to help anybody.
No, but
that just helps themselves through money and insider trading. That's all that does.
What I do think is imperative is that people realize that one of the tricks about politics is how you use it. There's a lot of people who go into this thinking, well, I'm just going to run because I want to make a statement. I want to get my message out there because I think it's important. What I think ends up happening in many cases is people run because they want to make a statement, but they're not prepared to win if they do, and vice versa. Some people just want to run because they want to be powerful. They want to have all the connections. I mean, you have to agree that with the rare exception of, from just meeting Massie, and I ran into a bunch of these guys while I was walking around, some of them have like this air of superiority about them that just think that they're so damn important. And what's funny, guys, is I get that vibe a lot more in the House than I do in the Senate. I don't know why that is. Maybe because there's less pressure in the Senate. Once you're there, it's 6-year terms, it's statewide, you've established yourself, you're known statewide. You typically are in a situation that unless it's a true swing state, you're pretty much safe. So I think there's less of that expectation or ego. That's also why you get people like Bernie, and then you get people like Senator Kennedy. With that being said, I do think that there are ways that you can use the platform, depending on what you're running for, to exert a message that is absolutely necessary. So what that looks like, I can't really say, but I know that I will always contemplate how best to use the platform that we're growing. And there were a number of people who came up to us over the course of the event who said, I found out about Doctors Against Genocide because of Revolutionary Change. I came to support the event because of hearing the message, which is amazing. Even if it's only a few people, that's still a few more that weren't there before. I would say that as much as anything is why it matters. I would assume you would agree with that.
Yes, people showing up. That's what matters.
Yeah. And I think getting through to people to recognize, like I said, it really dawned on me when we were there that, yeah, I get why people get into their silos. There are, again, it's Capitol Hill. This is a whole other ballgame. I mean, you're talking about, like I said, people that are showing up there. And the one thing that I will say, and until when we can continue from here, when I took the photo of the doctors standing in front of the Hawthorne building, there were a handful of Zio kids that came walking out. They were leaving. They were walking down the stairs. And one of them was turning around as if like he was going to say something, like he was going to try to mouth off. And it was like, I was looking right at him and I was basically giving him the look of, oh, I fucking dare you to say something. Like, I want you to do it. Like, just do it. I don't care how many.
I had a nice interaction with what I call crazy Jew, with a whole gaggle of her children.
Please tell me. Tell us.
No, I just gave her a stink eye because she was looking at me, and I was like,
"Did she?" Well, you had the earrings on, right?
No, I was wearing a keffiyeh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So she gave me a look, and I'm thinking, lady, stop fucking. Your kids are already inbred. It ain't gonna get better if you keep having more. That's what I'm thinking. But far be it for me to interject with somebody wanting to, like, finish out the human species by genetically combining into one amoeba.
One thing I want to also say is that the conversation that I heard tonight was a conversation between two men who I do think are, relatively well intended. I'm not going to say that they're not. I also think, like most of that audience, they're living in their own information silo. They don't understand that Israel is not going to survive this. Now, what that's going to look like or how long that's going to take, I can't say. But Israel is persona non grata for tens of millions of people in this country, and they are never going to recover from it. There is not going to be this period like the Israeli was suggesting on stage. We are going to have total peace by 2030. And when I
think he's correct. I think that's true. But Israel will no longer be a Jewish state. Now, okay, so what he's saying is that this will be resolved. And I agree with him. This will be resolved.
I think it'll be resolved sooner than that. I don't even think it's going to take
he's putting it on even further down the road. But I don't know exactly what his version of what that looks like. But given that he very strongly supports self-determination and justice for Palestinians, I assume that it's not a Jewish ethno state. So when he says there will be peace in Israel, what he means is there will be peace on that land of Palestine and people will coexist. That's what he means. But they definitely were coming from a good place. And if this gets because this gets them into very many different circles. And I think it's a smart thing to do.
I want to be very clear, and we've been talking about this lately, and I keep saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it. I believe the Democrats are infinitely more dangerous than the Republicans are because they protect empire exceptionally better than the Republicans do. With the Republicans, you know exactly what's coming. You know how they're going to do it. With Democrats, there's always this sleight of hand that's coming. And one of the things that we discussed yesterday with the doctors is the real danger with J Street and what they represent and what they're going to represent. Because as AIPAC continues to, we'll say, flame out, they are not going to necessarily be around long enough to survive, but it doesn't matter. Because the one thing we know about the Israel lobby, as we experienced on the Hill, they have a whole bunch of different organizations. It's not just one. So when they say, it's like Bernie saying, well, it's the Netanyahu government, and that's the reason. Or if we just got rid of AIPAC, things will be okay. No, that's not how it works. And if you want more proof, here's an example when they suggest that it's really a Republican problem. No, this is a pro-Israel AIPAC for Democrats.
Wait, before you show that, what you just said, this was made very clear to me yesterday with Ossoff's person, that the problem is the Republicans.
Of course.
And that we need to be speaking with them because they're the real problem. Okay.
Here's a real problem.
Well, I appreciate the relationship that I've had with AIPAC from the very beginning of my congressional journey.
Go dance, Bojangles. Go dance. Fucking tool.
And unfortunately, this numbnuts, because of how incompetent our government is and how the billionaire class just likes to play around with, I think the blue team will be the champions this time. We've got to have our first black speaker of the House. It's time. Stop.
Not going to happen. If they were going to be the majority, he wouldn't have gotten that position. The only reason that Tupac, AIPAC Shakur, no insult to Tupac, but the only reason he got that gig is because they weren't in the majority. If they were in the majority, then Nancy would have still been sitting there.
By the way,
it was very easy for her to hand over that when they weren't in the majority.
By the way, do you know that the Speaker of the House chamber has been named after Nancy Pelosi?
What? What did
Yeah,
you say?
I'm not kidding.
What happened?
So Pelosi's, so the Speaker's chambers, if you will, it sits on, you know where the press rotunda is, where it's like set up on like the third floor or whatever in the...
Let's just say I do to facilitate this.
So the office is right there. And there is this big placard that's over the top of it saying it's the Nancy Pelosi Speaker Chamber, some shit. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Why did
and yet Trump is the issue with his name on it.
Totally not.
Did you see the picture, the poster of him next to the poster of Teddy Roosevelt?
Which one? The picture
on one of the big government buildings, right on Pennsylvania Avenue. I don't even know what building it was. Some big building. They're having like all this stuff for the 250, like all the 250th anniversary. Right? There's posters. So there's this poster of Teddy, and then next to it's the poster of Trump. They put him right next to Teddy Roosevelt. I thought you would have gotten a kick out of that.
Oh, I definitely would have, because if the fundamental difference of the day would never have accepted Trump in any way.
The pro-Israel community fully embraced me.
Hold on.
Well, I appreciate the relationship that I've had with AIPAC from the very beginning of my congressional journey.
Yeah.
The pro-Israel community fully embraced me.
Yeah, they did.
Ah, there he is. There he is. Look at that handsome fella right there.
Biggest piece of shit. He is a big friggin' piece of shit. I can't believe that we ever thought that he was remotely decent.
Oh, yeah, because he walks around with a hoodie all day long.
He's gross.
Well, you know what, though?
I actually would have loved to bump into somebody that I don't like. I didn't. I mean, I don't have a beef with Rosa DeLauro other than I think she should have retired, but you know.
Well, like you said,
in the scheme of Congress, she's not the most offensive.
No, but they're definitely okay. So
yeah, Chantel Brown is disgusting.
Okay, so and I texted Nina yesterday by just telling her it really, you know, I don't want to tell her the full truth about how, you know, it should have been you and it would have been you if things were done correctly. But
and nothing would be different. That's the point. It wouldn't matter.
I don't know about that.
He's already there. It doesn't fucking matter who.
No, it all depends on whether or not you actually. No, well, I'll explain that when it comes to Zohran in a minute. But the point is, we met with, or you know, the doctors that I was with, they met with Chantel's staffers, and I basically waited for everyone to give their speech, and then I said something to them. And what I told them is, at the end of the day, she has taken 7 figures from the Israel lobby. Are you making sure that she doesn't take that Israel lobby money anymore? Because if you're not, then anything you say here or anything you say you're going to do doesn't mean anything, because she's going to keep doing what she's doing. And that's the reason she's there. And the fact of the matter is, those people that live in Cleveland Heights and what was that other fancy neighborhood that was that they all live in?
It's Shaker Heights. It's Shaker Heights.
Right.
And Beechwood.
It's
Shaker Heights and Beechwood is where the issues were.
You see, they have all the money, but they don't have the votes. And at the end of the day, this is a career, and it's a fancy career, and they are all cock of the walk. Let me tell you, they're the overwhelming majority of these elected representatives. Thomas, like I said, Massie's an exception to the rule, but the overwhelming majority of the people that are there, they think they're all fucking cock of the walk. They think their shit don't stink, and they love people kissing their ass. They love it. And you know what else I didn't mention? I'm going to mention now. These congressional chambers are all supposed to be open to the public. They're supposed to be open to the public. You're allowed to walk in there and introduce yourself. You can legally do that. You know whose office is not open to the public, ladies and gentlemen?
Well, Debbie's office is never.
AOC does not allow visitors, and I got to tell you, because I was the only one there.
Where is her office? Wasn't
her office is 2 doors away from Randy Fine's office, and 4 doors away.
What building is that? Where were you?
That's I forget what the.
It must be in that Longworth. Yeah, it wasn't in Rayburn.
It's the newer offices, which is interesting, and so Alex does not take visitors into her office. Although I am convinced, because I did speak with one of her staff, her I don't know if it was her chief of staff, but it's like a primary staff.
What do you mean you can't walk into her office?
Well, here's the thing.
I walked into everybody's office.
Well, of course, I could legally walk in there, but here's the thing. The reason why I think she told me that she's not seeing anybody, or that you can't just walk in without an appointment, is because she was in there at the moment. Like at that moment, she was actually in there.
I agree. Kevin, she's working tirelessly. She's working tirelessly.
For a ceasefire! Randy,
let this play. I can't stare at Fetterman anymore. Thank you, Voodoo Child.
Oh, honestly, I just want to remind people of how freaking tiny this is. And another thing.
Oh, wait. If we're going to put that guy up, then let's see him in his truest form, shall we?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Behold the Zio pussy. And now you're going to get to see what he actually looks like. Here he is.
Yeah.
There he is. See? Zio pussy. And there he is. Okay.
Thank you. He has a mezuzah. That's what it's called, right?
He has a mezuzah. Does he have one?
Oh, he most certainly does. So does Debbie. And their offices are right next to each other. Of course there are. They all fucking stick together.
I wasn't in that building. I'm glad. I did go in, and so Sheila called me this morning, and it was before I was up, and I didn't answer it, and I got to reach back out to her, but I was surprised. She actually called me.
Maybe
not texted me. She called me, which is weird.
Maybe she wants to meet tomorrow.
I don't know. I'll call her. I'll message her and see what's up. I haven't really. Yeah. Anyhow.
AIPAC.
Let me just say one thing. It really becomes extra disturbing when you see these guys. Because the one thing that I learned when and it kind of dawned on me when I walked by Clyburn's office is that they represent the poorest, most vulnerable districts, and it's black faces in high places. And this is what they do to people that desperately. This guy, Glenn Ivey, I guarantee you he represents Baltimore. In a place where people desperately need help, they desperately need representation. And this is the representation they're getting. They're getting representation of a person who probably doesn't have any real Zionist contingent within his district. But hey, he wants you to know he's front and center. The one representative who we went to speak with yesterday that was a waste of time, true waste of time, was Congressman Mike McCall, who represents a portion of Austin, Texas. Why? Because he is the chair of the Armed Services Committee, and he is in a heavily Christian Zionist district. You are wasting your time. It doesn't make any difference. But the fact that you got people like this who do it just makes it that much more hypocritical, which shows you it's all about a career. It's not about a purpose. It's not about a cause, period.
Well, I meant that. It's okay. Go ahead.
Role in my political campaign. I think it really helped it take off.
How about that? The top fundraiser.
Just let it play.
Richie. Top fundraiser for the Hispanic. Oh, man, alive. Dance you. Dance you. Just dance. Oh, good Lord. Grace Meng and Ben Liu. Oh,
thank you, everyone.
There she is.
Oh my God. God, is she getting like
she's melting. Bored? She's melting. Oh Lord, I didn't know you did that.
Oh, there she is. That's my so-called congresswoman. Not anymore.
Not anymore, thankfully. Where's Oprah? That's funny.
And AIPAC for their deep and long-standing friendship. It means a lot to me.
Yes.
Keeps your ass on the hill.
No, I had an interesting. We went to go meet with because I walked around with the Georgia contingency, because now I'm officially a Georgia person. So we went and we met with Hank Buddy Carter. Hank Buddy Carter. He's not really our buddy. And his assistant, who, a black man, nice guy, proceeded to explain to me why the federal government is completely not qualified to be in the healthcare business. Why we don't get universal healthcare. And this, by the way, is someone who clearly is from a vulnerable community. I don't know what he's in now. No. Somehow Hank Buddy Carter has this guy working for him as some toady, convincing him that while you get healthcare working here, the rest of your people don't deserve it. How's that sound? And he's like, okay, thank you, master. So I found that to be a little bit off-putting. But yeah, these people, you could go and meet them. It doesn't matter. Unless you're giving them a shit ton of money or stock tips that will make them a shit ton of money, they will not pay attention to you. They don't care about you. It does not matter. Not even a little.
And that's why it is in all, listen, if you are there because you have a business or there's something you're advocating for, okay, so be it. But if you are going to Capitol Hill to try to lobby for a forget that it's even Palestine. If you, with rare exception, there are people who will listen. But in terms of actually getting something done, if you are arguing for a non-corporate issue on Capitol Hill, you're wasting your time.
I'm getting to that. I'm getting close to that, GQ. It's all silly. We don't even have the facade of our elections isn't even there anymore. So what's the point? We know that our will of the majority of people in this country is never going to be met by public policy. We know that the policy reflects the will of the Epstein class. Period.
Well,
and it doesn't matter how much we vote. It doesn't matter how much we protest. But I'll tell you what does seem to be taking a little bit of time, but working. I think these fires are kind of interesting. Look, It is not a coincidence that my logo is a match. I honestly, when insurance companies start refusing to insure for employers who don't pay their employees a living wage, that is when we might see something. So what I say to people, and I am not, again, I know that the Epstein class thinks fires are violence. No, they're not. No, they're not. Denying healthcare is violence. Not paying a living wage is violence. Those things are violent. Fire to material objects, not violent. That's the thing, not violent. That doesn't kill people. It just takes away their money.
And the other thing that we also have to keep in mind is that while Mexico has always had universal health care. It's now official that they have it. It's now official government policy that they have single payer health care. And as a result, what you're going to see is a massive propaganda campaign by the United States and possibly some type of economic sabotage to ensure that they fail in some capacity. That's what they're going to try to do. So when somebody says, oh, there's no way it could possibly work, let me tell you, if it starts working in Mexico in a way that is visible to the United States, that's bad business. Very bad business.
I see you have something here about the warehouse fires. I mean,
Yes.
I wasn't sure what.
At some point, you have to understand that when people decide that they just don't fucking care anymore, there is no coming back from that either. Just like Israel can't save itself and it's just in a matter of time. It is a matter of time before there is a true revolution. It's happening now. I am sure most of you saw what happened earlier today. Here it is.
Is, Philip, this fire just erupted, and we don't know what's burning inside this structure quite yet. It comes back at 2420 North Alameda in Compton. Compton Fire, LA County firefighters really just trying to assess what they have right now and see if they can get around this. As you can tell, there's going to be some access issues, and this is really starting to take off. I want to open up just real quick and give you a live shot of this, or a wide shot, I should say. Now, fortunately, most of this smoke is going straight up in the air, into the atmosphere. That is great news because we don't know what's burning. We don't know if there might be chemicals inside this structure. You just don't know. But this is an
great
industrial
news?
area, and this fire is completely consuming at least one portion of that building.
That is the dumbest fucking thing. Okay, so the smoke is going straight up, so it's not so bad. What do you think happens when it gets up there? Dumbest fucking thing. Like, it just disappears. It goes straight up, like out into the universe.
It's mid-April. Mid-April. It's been 90 degrees in DC for 3 consecutive days. You think
This
that's
place,
normal?
well, this place should burn. It should burn. It really should. This place should be like Dante's Inferno.
It's kind of heading there. We had a great thing, or at least we tried to have a great thing, but
yeah. I mean, but I got to tell you, like, these people, this is the result, I think, of Luigi taking that first step. And I think that a lot of these types of actions, people are sort of channeling that. And I am definitely, I am so here for it. I honestly, none of those Epstein class people should have a moment of peace. No. Not a moment of peace. They don't get to just sit on their little inventory. Fuck you. You try getting insurance now when you know that someone's going to set your warehouse on fire.
Hell yeah, that's the thing. That's what's going to happen. You see, that's where people are going to start doing it more and more because they know this is the big issue, especially with climate change. If you want to understand what climate change really is, because the layperson, again, this is the whole thing about whether running for office would even make sense just to get the message out there. The whole purpose of climate change and why it's a big deal. Take Florida, for example. Take Florida, the limp weenie of the United States of America. Do you know why climate change is a catastrophe in this state? Because you can't insure anything anymore. And if you want to insure it, you are going to pay more for the insurance than the actual value of the property. Correct. That means that the system's finished and you can't salvage it. And yet, because it's so fucking corrupt in this state, and because you have so many developers that believe truly in their corrupt, bloated minds that you can eat money and you could drink oil. So let them keep thinking that. And this is why I don't care if all the Zios decide to move to Southeast Florida. Let them go there because that'll be the last ones holding the bag. Maybe they know that. Maybe they don't know that. Maybe because of the manipulation of the banking system, they think they're going to get bought out. They're going to be saved in the end. That they're going to be bailed out from their bad housing investments. Let me tell you, that's not going to happen. What's going to end up happening is exactly what Jen has been saying for many years, which is Florida was never meant to be a state where you could be living south of Lake Okeechobee, and half the fucking state's population lives south of Lake Okeechobee. So you try explaining that one. You try explaining why people live in Tampa, Fort Myers, Sarasota, Naples, Miami, West Palm, Fort Lauderdale. No, it's never meant to be that. And they not only decided that we're all going to live down there, we are going to do it like nobody's fucking business. Hey, Trump, if I were you, I would totally sell Mar-a-Lago a lot faster. It might be a smart idea. As soon as you're done, I would sell it. Get some sucker to take it because you're the one who's going to be stuck with it. And I also want to point out, because as I pointed out to the doctors, I said, if you really want to make your time on the Hill useful, or if you really want to make your advocacy useful, the person that, or the state that you need to be focusing on is New York. New York has had, with the help of friend of the show, Senator Gustavo Rivera, a major push for the New York Health Act, which I think will also bring what's going on in West Asia much more to the forefront if you could get it through. Now, why is that so significant? Because Zohran is maybe not necessarily going to be out there advocating for it, but he's not going to fight you on it. He's going to let you do what you're going to do. And that is a lot different than any of the shit you're going to get on Capitol Hill. Here's a video that he dropped earlier today, and the corporate establishment weenies are going absolutely bananas over it.
For mayor.
Is this the thing where, well, you can put it up there. Is this the thing where they are going to be taxing the shit out of people's second homes?
Here it is.
Well, today, we're taxing the rich. I'm thrilled to announce we've secured a pied-à-terre tax the first in New York's history. This is an annual fee on luxury property. When I ran for mayor, I said I was going to tax the rich. Well, today, we're taxing the rich. I'm thrilled to announce we've secured a pied-à-terre tax, the first in New York's history. This is an annual fee on luxury properties worth more than $5 million, whose owners do not live full-time in the city. Like for this penthouse, which hedge fund CEO Ken Griffin bought for $238 million.
And there are people complaining that this is a bad thing. Can you even wrap your fucking mind around $238 million in Manhattan for an apartment? Do you even want to know what type of property taxes you're paying on that? Do you even want to know what type of monthly payment you're paying on that? It's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars every fucking month. Every month. You think this is normal? You think this is even acceptable? And there are people out there who are actually saying that Zohran is trying to get Ken Griffin killed.
No, but
that's the laws of the jungle if that ends up happening.
I would just call that like a happy accident. What did Bob Ross used to say when you would make an accident? Like there are no such things.
Just beat the devil out of it. Just beat the devil out of it. That's all you got to do.
I'm just like, the fact that he did this at that guy's penthouse is awesome. And it reminds me of when we did the thing with Gene Trentellis's Bentley at City Hall in Fort Lauderdale. It's like, there is nothing wrong with pointing out where these people reside and where they spend their money. If you want all those benefits,
it's public record. People know where I live. People know where you live. People can know where Ken Griffin lives.
So not so much anymore.
Yeah,
they don't.
True. You're definitely more off the grid than I am. But listen, he's not even telling you where Ken Griffin lives. He's showing you at night some high-rise building in Manhattan. You don't know where the fuck it is. I mean, yeah, maybe to somebody who truly knows New York knows where this is, but the average person, they don't know where this is.
No, most people don't. That could be anywhere. That could be anywhere.
It's probably the Upper West Side, but wherever the hell it is, it's again. He didn't say he lives in this apartment at this number and this, that. So anybody who's saying, oh, he's trying to get Ken Griffin killed, Ken Griffin is doing it to himself. Citadel.
This is a good point. And I that was one of my concerns too. So Susan saying taxing second homes, that will be passed on to the renters, don't you think? Very potentially. That was something that I actually did think about when they did this, but it's still the right move. Nobody I'm like, how when we were kids and they were giving something out and everybody got one before anybody else could have seconds, right? Like that's how it works. Everybody gets one before somebody else has seconds. This piece of shit has second is a 230 something million. That is obscene.
To even wrap your head around
so
that number for a house.
Obscene.
For a house.
And it's not his main house. Like, people like that do not need to exist among us.
No.
They just don't. Now, you could take that however you want it. I'm not a proponent of violence, but these people are committing acts of violence daily against all of us.
Well, that's the whole argument. This is, again, it's the same argument for Mangione monetary theory, as you said. There is a difference between somebody who chooses a violent death with a gun versus somebody who chooses an exchangeable death, a monetized or a notarized death. A person who signs off on a legal document saying we are not going to cover cancer treatment for 78,000 people because this quarter we're a little behind and we have to catch up on our shareholder dividends. They decide to kill people literally with a fountain pen. And because it's not as messy, and because of course it's of the rich, that it's defensible. The literal sucking off of the rich and powerful is unlike anything we've ever seen before. And that is a big reason why this exists. And I can tell you guys that there is a big difference between somebody who is a self-made success, who actually did it with, let's say, a tangible business, a tangible investment, et cetera, versus people who get their money and make a lot of it through hustle culture. That includes things like investing in Bitcoin. That's hustle culture. That was just being in the right place at the right time. People who invest in Polymarket and Kalshi. You see, if you make your money that way, you understand you're making money through a broken system, that you're getting the piece of a pie and a whole bunch of other people are getting fucked over in the process. Those are the people
Yes,
who
but
are the loud.
people think they can be that too.
Of course.
And I'm going to say this honestly, any person who owns a house at that cost is a piece of shit human being. That's a piece of shit person.
Correct.
It is. I don't need to know them. I don't need to meet them.
Don't need to know
them. And
them.
again, as far as I'm concerned, the Obamas have crept up onto that list too. So for me, when you get to a certain point where you're paying more for a home than most people will ever see in their lifetime. In their life. You're a piece of shit human.
But again, your argument is so far in left field, because this is people who spend $5 million on a home is insanity as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, but I will say this. There are places, depending on where if you want to be there, that is the cost of living. Now, 200 and something million dollars is not. That is not the cost of living. Okay, anywhere. That's absurd. So when you say somebody, let's say in LA, or like a good friend of mine who lived in La Cañada, and these weren't wealthy people, but the houses just go for $1.5 million. That's just because how they go. Yep. People like that. No, I don't think you're a piece of shit human being. This is a piece of shit human being. There is no universe wherein you need to have a house that costs that kind of money. None.
This peer-to-peer tax is specifically designed for the richest of the rich, those who store their wealth in New York City real estate, but who don't actually live here. But even so, they're able to reap the huge financial rewards of owning property in, dare I say, the greatest city in the world. And most of the time, these units are sitting empty, since again, they don't actually live here. This is a fundamentally unfair system that hurts working New Yorkers. Now, it's coming to an end. This tax will raise at least $500 million directly for the city.
And you know, the one thing that we can absolutely say definitively that I think we've all established so far with him becoming the biggest chief executive of a major city in the United States, he may not be able to get all 500 million of that revenue to be used for good causes, but he's going to get a nice chunk of it, and it's going to go in places that it needs to be going to. That's one thing I'm confident in saying that he'll do. And heck, if that 500 million is what part of the pie is given, which I think his project for the government price controlled grocery store, I think that entire project is about 32 million. So if he's able to do that, hey, to me, that's a good use of money. You do not hate the rich enough because you don't understand how much they're fucking you over 24/7, and you do not understand how little they actually contribute to the grand scheme of what it actually costs to run a country successfully. They're robbing you blind. And not only are they robbing you blind, but just as Zohran pointed out, these guys don't even live in New York. You know what else is true about that statement, ladies and gentlemen? A lot of them don't even live in this fucking country. How do you like
No, they rotate. Again, oligarchs don't have a currency. They don't have a language and they don't have a currency. They're global. They're borderless. They don't have borders. So yeah, and I appreciate what they're trying to do here. I have questions like what came up before as to how this will work.
Correct.
Directly for the city. It'll help fund things like free childcare, cleaner streets, and safer neighborhoods. As mayor, I believe everyone has a role to play in contributing to our city, and some a little bit more than others. Happy Tax Day, New York.
So, I picked one response that was worth reading. Colin, can I have the tweet, please? Of all the people that decided to run their mouth because why not? Bill Ackman, Zio extraordinaire himself. Non-residents who spend millions of dollars on New York City apartments help drive New York City's economy. Oh, is that so? Is that
Really?
so? That's
Well, what do you mean by economy? What does he mean by economy? Do you mean the economy of the Epstein class? Or do you mean the economy that affects just all the regular people? Because they don't get any of your trickle-down piss. Fucking ridiculousness.
Most of the profit in condominium development is in the penthouses. The Ken Griffins of the world would make New York high and development viable, driving high-paying construction, brokerage, legal, marketing, and other jobs in New York City. So in other words, what he's admitting is that this is driven extremely towards the rich and powerful, period. He really is.
Oh, this guy's showing his whole ass. He's showing his whole ass. Bill, I suggest Kevlar. I would suggest some Kevlar for you.
Him especially.
I would. I'm just saying, like, and as someone who's not invested, I think that would be worth investing in right now, people, Kevlar, because a lot of people like this piece of shit are going to start investing in that for themselves.
We should be applauding Ken for spending $238 again, this is a person who is not only a multi-billionaire cheat, my understanding, he's married to an Israeli because of course he is. Because of course he thinks like this. Because they all think that fucking money makes the world go round. End of discussion. In all circumstances, there is no light. Everything is all about money and power, period. Not attacking him for doing so. Importantly, non-resident owners of New York City apartments who leave their apartments vacant for much of the year are not a burden to New York City schools, services, or other resources. Why do you have apartments that are that expensive that are not being occupied? Do you understand we have a fucking housing crisis in this country? How many people?
That's why did they, you tell me, why do they have apartments like that?
Because of this, because again, they're telling on themselves. They can't help it. They hate people that are not of their class. That's why they typically don't really care if people are criminals.
Oh, and here, wait, he's getting ready to play the "we employ lots of people" card. You don't pay them, but you employ them. So that's great.
Not a burden for schools, services, or other resources while they drive growth in retail, sales, restaurants, theater, and other, of course, again, theater, restaurant, of course you would say that. And
who is shopping and doing that now?
Yeah, okay, well, again, the disconnect. They also support New York City nonprofits with donations because, you know what? It was the nonprofits that weren't getting enough support. That's why things suck in New York.
Oh my God, I love that. Oh, but he's a real philanthropist. He donates this small percentage of his fortune so that he can get a tax write-off and pretend to give a shit. Yeah.
Ken's company is a major employer in New York City of very high-paying jobs. Yes, obviously, very few, but very high-paying, which drive a considerable amount of our tax base. We wouldn't want to move even more employees to Miami. No, please.
Oh, I do.
All of you go to Miami.
Go.
All of you. All of you
go to Miami. Seriously. It's a great place. It's great. You'll love it.
You know what's going to happen when you all move
Brickell.
to Miami?
Go to Brickell. Go down to Brickell.
There's going to be, you know what's going to happen in New York? There's going to be ivy and trees growing on these buildings. You're actually going to be able to breathe the air in New York again. It's going to be great.
We'll see.
These non-resident owners also already pay a lot of taxes, including mansion taxes, real estate taxes, sales taxes, and more. Actually, you know what I think he's doing? He's just talking about himself. That's what he's doing. Well,
he's just showing his whole self.
While Mamdani likes the tagline, tax the rich, unfortunately his policies will harm the constituencies he is supposedly trying to help. I can't imagine the New York City construction unions are excited about his plan.
Yeah, because the construction unions, I'm sure, are just all above board and about the people, right? They couldn't possibly be, I don't know, in bed with developers. They couldn't possibly be willing to fuck over their own rank and file, right? Unions don't do that.
No, they don't do that. They're just you know, pimps with a heart of gold, or is it a prostitute with a heart of gold?
Oh, unbelievable. Oh, Bill Ackman, Kevlar.
You know, there was a story that actually is going to make life a lot more difficult for all Americans, but also is going to hurt the rich. Because as you know, we have been trying to explain to people constantly that China is not fucking around. This is not a game, and neither is it for Iran. And now that China is making it universally clear that they are backing Iran in this, and that if it means that there's some type of a proxy war with the United States as a result, then so be it. You thought the Strait of Hormuz.
So we need that story. Wait, do we need that story that I passed on to Colin?
Colin, can you pull it? Can you pull it, please? So
it has to do with the China Sea.
Yeah. So not only is Iran covering the Strait of Hormuz, now China is basically creating a blockade for the United States in the South China Sea. You think the Strait of Hormuz is a problem? This is it on steroids. The South China Sea. This is the whole thing about Taiwan. This is all Taiwan was ever about controlling the South China Sea. And we want to control it, just like we can pick on people like Venezuela. Well, you can't do this. This doesn't work. And this is why countries like China are starting to get it and are starting to move fast.
So what happened was, for people not aware, we turned away, like the collective, they turned away, I believe it was 6 Chinese ships. It must sound like somebody was coming in. And China's like, okay, we can play that. And so now they're blocking the South China Sea from us. And the thing is, that hurts us a whole hell of a lot more than blocking the Strait of Hormuz does to China. Every step of the way, they're like 5 steps ahead of us. Yeah. All right. U.S. carriers shift to Middle East as China deploys barriers in South China Sea. China installs floating barriers near Scarborough Shoal amid U.S. naval withdrawals, testing regional security dynamics. So this is not really making our mainstream media, by the way. I found this, like I'd heard about it and then I went and looked it up, but it's certainly not making it on CNN. No. Reuters reported on the 15th, citing satellite imagery analysis firm Vantor, that China has deployed vessels and installed floating barriers at the entrance to the South China Sea, where it is engaged in a maritime territorial dispute with the Philippines. This move comes as the United States, which is at war with Iran, has positioned 3 aircraft carriers in the Middle East and withdrawn military assets and personnel from the Indo-Pacific region. Yes, that wasn't so smart. In the past, when U.S. carriers left the area, Beijing often tested the level of external pressure against it through various channels. According to Vantor's images obtained by Reuters, vessels presumed to be Chinese Navy or Coast Guard patrol ships, fishing boats, and floating barriers crossing the reef were detected near the Scarborough Shoal between the 10th and 11th. The Scarborough Shoal is one of the most fiercely contested maritime territories in the Indo-Pacific, where Chinese Coast Guard ships frequently ram and spray water cannons at Philippine maritime patrol vessels. In 2023, China installed floating barriers in the waters around the Scarborough Shoal to block the Philippine fishing boats, leading to a conflict when Philippine Coast Guard divers were dispatched to remove them. Keep going. Let's see. China claims sovereignty over most of the South China Sea under its self-defined 9-dash line. But the Permanent Court of Arbitration, PCA, ruled in 2016 that this claim has no basis under international law. Despite this, Beijing has continued to dispatch patrol ships to the Philippines' exclusive economic zone, prolonging the dispute. So we're noticing, I guess, that none of us follow international law. The U.S. has pressured China since 2015 by conducting freedom of navigation operations in the South China Sea. Can you imagine if China was performing freedom of navigation exercises in the Gulf of Mexico? Like, can you, like, and we do that, and then somehow the nerve of them to not like it. It's crazy. It really is. Allies and partner nations advocating for a free and open Indo-Pacific have also participated in these exercises. However, a significant portion of U.S. naval forces is currently deployed near Iran in the Strait of Hormuz. The Washington Post reported last month that the USS George Herbert Walker Bush, which departed from the Norfolk base in Virginia, is expected to arrive in the Middle East around the 21st. This marks the third aircraft carrier to be deployed to the region. Really? You're going to send 3 aircraft carriers to the same exact location? What could go wrong?
Well,
I know he's a military strategist, but it seems really fucking dumb to put all your eggs in one basket. I don't know. Anywho, this marks the third to be deployed to the region, following the USS Abraham Lincoln and the USS Gerald Ford. Additionally, part of the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense THAAD, the THAAD system, a key component in South Korea's defense against North Korean nuclear missile threats, has been withdrawn. And the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, typically the first to respond to the contingencies on the Korean Peninsula, has been redeployed from Japan to the Middle East. Okay, so we're going to take all of our assets and put them in one place, and China is going to, and we're going to keep them out of it. And China's like, hold my beer.
Yeah, they really do.
Oh my God. Okay, so what this means that we shot ourselves in the foot. I'd say we shot ourselves in both feet. So we're sitting here, and again, the micro penises, these guys are sitting there trying to screw over China. And all they're doing is wrapping themselves further and further into this shitstorm that they're never going to be able to get out of. It's really, and
as
glorious.
I said, as we have discussed, everything is about the South China Sea.
Who has Lebanese hashish? Come on, Joey, don't hold out on me, man. That's some good shit. I haven't had hash in years.
I don't know what you're talking
about.
Hash.
I do like a good hash, and I'm sure that the hashish there is quite tasty.
What is that? Is that it? I thought that's like a drug. Is that what that is?
Hash?
Yeah.
It's just resinated weed. It's it's cannabis, but it's the resin. It's the resin of cannabis.
So you bong hit that? Is that what that is?
Oh, you could do a lot of things. Hash is great. They make people know now they have like these moon rocks. They call them moon rocks, and they're basically little hash nuggets. Yeah, there's some. Yeah, I do. Let me tell you, I've always liked hash. Hash is one of those things that's like a special treat. You know, like I'm always happy, you know, for just any cannabis in general, but like hash, it's like a double dessert situation.
That's Henry Kajawa with a great one.
Thank you, Henry. Hash browns, yes.
So I played a computer game years ago where you get to be a drug dealer, and it's so fucking weird, where you basically
Wanker tanker, this is what I'm dealing with.
So you basically have to make a profit, or they're going to come kill you. It's interesting, but what it was you got to basically trade all types of drugs, and so as many that I didn't know what hashish was, but it was one of those I was on there. It was also peyote, there was cocaine, crack cocaine, heroin.
Yeah, no, none of that's good. But us real cannabis people, we don't mess with that other shit.
Yeah,
we don't mess with that other shit. We often aren't even drinkers. So it's just, we're in a different world.
Well, to each their own. If that's what you like, then that's what you like. But coming full circle, I do think that we are. There's also something to be said. You said that DC is soulless.
Oh, completely.
Knowing what we know.
Thank you, Andrew.
Can we give a happy birthday to...
You're right, Texas Trail. We do smoke. We're flower smokers. Speaking of which, so guys, if you did not know,
excuse me.
Wait, who?
It is Rathbone's birthday, and we have to give a shout out.
Birthday, Rathbone.
It's actually a shitty day for him because he unfortunately passed the 4-0, so you know he's feeling a little long in the tooth.
40's the new 30.
But then I told him I'll be 43 in a few weeks, so he won't feel too bad.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're 40. Wah. You know what I did for my 40th? I did a Habitat for Humanity build and had a whole bunch of people come out, and we did this whole build, and then I had food truck come out and feed everybody. I earned like I made like $2,700 for them from my 40th.
Roth don't understand. He understands my
whatever
proclivity to feel young.
So I wanted to talk about my cannabis experience here in DC for people who are not aware. So the last time I was in DC, cannabis was recreational. And I was unaware. Thank you, Andrew. I was unaware that they had lost it. So there is no longer recreational. And so I walked around on my first day here looking for dispensaries that are still on a map but don't exist. So it turns out now they're back to medicinal here. And the reason they're back to medicinal here is because in somehow, some way, somebody at the recreational dispensaries was lacing the weed with meth. And so as a result, it all got shut down. Now, Peter's point, of course, which I do agree with, is that it was just sabotaged. It was done purposefully by people who didn't want the rec, that wanted to be able to charge more. Whatever it is, that it was sabotaged on purpose, that it wasn't necessarily dispensaries, because why would they do that? Why would they want to sabotage their own profit? Like, that doesn't even make sense. So now we're back to medicinal here. Fortunately, you can get a medicinal card for a temporary person, but we are trying a few different things. I've got this one this is brand new. This is the very first jar of this strain, the very first shipment of strain, and it is called Blue Limeade. And I haven't tried this one yet. So I want to, and then there's also one here that I got that's Panama Red, but that's kind of like an oldie but a goodie. But yeah, no more recreational weed in DC.
Yeah, it's a great point. It is criminal enterprising, which again, there's a lot of different types of criminal enterprising, but it is, like I said, very interesting watching all of these guys run through the halls of Congress, trying to get everybody's attention, and they're all just trying to get. It's like the collapsing empire, and they're all trying to get their last remnants of whatever wealth they think they can squeeze out of it before it's absolutely kaput. That's kind of what it is, because there really is no logic behind it.
Tony D. Rocklover. Henry, what's the difference between porn compared to prostitution? Nothing if it involves consenting adults. Mm-hmm. What they have in common, if it's consenting adults, is it's none of our fucking business. That's what it has. That's the similarity. Consenting adults, none of our business. Simple. Mind your business.
I want people to also, and we're gonna get to Israel in a minute, but we do want to give obviously a big shout out to all of our wonderful supporters that are here this evening. Make sure you go over to patreon.com/revolutionary change. For as little as $5 a month, you can become a paying supporter of our small but mighty, despite suppressed yet still growing channel. We passed 122,000 subscribers the other day. No plaque yet, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe it's one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
You don't have enough people. You don't have enough people paying for weed. You have too many pharmaceutical vested interests, and that's the other thing. You got big agriculture, big pharma that are in bed together, and that's another big issue. And on the Hill, that's everywhere. Like I've said, once you're there, once you see it for what it is soulless, but it doesn't mean that you have to become soulless with it. You just have to be able to identify it.
I didn't mean to do it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it. I'm just looking at it.
Let's give a big shout out. Colin, I don't know why this happened again, and it's getting really annoying. I know that we have 2 new YouTube members, and it showed up earlier, and now it's not here. So I don't know if you have the names or not, but I want to give a shout out every time. Whenever somebody becomes a paying member, we always want to acknowledge them. It's very important. I don't want people thinking that we. And
I see somebody asking again if we're meeting with Anthony. I don't think he's here because
I don't think Anthony's here. He's actually on. He's on like a 200-mile hike right now across parts of North Carolina, and he's doing it.
He's campaigning. I think that most people don't realize the undertaking that they're in for when they run and think that they might be able to do more things than you actually can really do. So no, we weren't able to connect with him, and I'm sure he's insanely busy.
Shout out shout out to Paul Elmo and Peter Buston.
Paul Elmo.
Elmo.
Paul Elmo. Yeah.
And Peter Buston. Thank you, gentlemen, for becoming YouTube members. We really appreciate it. Citizen Bendejo with the 20 pesos. Great to see you, friend. Flotilla is back. They'll prove Maloney still a Zio. Hey, we're going to get to that in a minute. So
I saw her being chewed out by one of the legislators in Italy. Let me tell you, the guy telling her off in Italian, it is so much sexier than what I hear these fucks in Congress. Like, he's sitting.
No
it just
bueno,
sounds
no,
I'm telling you, I don't know what he was saying, but it sounded good.
Sounded good. That's the point. Big shout out to James JB with the $5. Wonderful seeing you both at the Doctors Against Genocide press conference. Free Sudan, free Palestine, free Iran, free the DRC. Love y'all. Appreciate it.
Thank you, James.
It's great to meet you, sir.
And James was funny because when I went up and met him, and he was wearing a white coat because it was a white coat march. And I asked him, I'm like, oh, you're a doctor. And he's a PhD doctor. And so I, of course, had to make my Dr. Jill Biden reference. But yeah. So thank you, James, for not caring that I was making a Jill Biden reference.
Jill Biden has an intimate evening coming up at 6th and I, by the way. That's on the schedule. Got to do some stuff afterwards. Jim Talib with the $5. Thank you as always. Really appreciate it.
Did you see that speech, that quote that Hegseth gave, that Bible verse?
And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger. Those who oppress my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Can you believe that Hegseth quoted that like it was a Bible verse and it was Samuel Jackson? Like, by the way, and Hegseth has been having these Bible meetings weekly. He's been having them weekly at the Pentagon.
Yeah.
According to, I will say this, according to Colonel Wilkerson, a lot of the people are not liking it.
Probably not. But Hegseth is a lunatic. Like, it's obvious. And he's got little dick syndrome going really strong because that is a guy who desperately wants to be accepted, overcompensates, wants to prove how masculine and tough he is, how he's got it really going on. That's why he gets that ridiculous, some people suggested it's a white supremacist tattoo that he put over his heart with those iron crosses. Maybe it is.
Yes, it is.
It
isn't necessarily. Okay, the Iron Cross is not necessarily that, but for him it is.
Yeah, probably.
You have to look at it in context of all the other tats. You can't just look at one thing.
0744 Pete with the $10. Fairly new to the channel. Not sure if you do a Fetterman, but you do the voice. Some folks call it a Kaiser blade. I call it a sling blade. Mm-hmm. I reckon I love Israel more than I should. Is that all
right? You got to work on your. No, it was Billy Bob Thornton in Sling Blade, which was an amazing movie. Okay, if you haven't seen that, then you can't have the real respect that you need to even see him as an actor, because that's really the only time I ever. Sling Blade was amazing.
Well, Billy Bob Thornton was really good in that movie with Bill Paxton. I'm forgetting the name of it right now.
Simple Plan.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he was very good in that.
That was good. Yeah, well, Sling Blade was a great movie.
Goba 44 with the $9.99. R.E. the Dems, Malcolm X said it best when he talked about the conservative being like a wolf. You see him coming, but the white liberal is a sly fox that gets you when you're not looking.
Yep.
Agree more. Huang Di with the $20. Peter looks good with blue steel. Love you guys. going to tell another dirty truth that you guys are not going to like. I have actually I have not seen Zoolander. Still haven't seen it. Is that a movie worth seeing? Is that
what movie?
Zoolander? Is that a movie that I should see?
I can't believe you're even asking me that.
There's really something more to life than being really, really ridiculously good looking.
Wait, so you haven't seen it?
No, I haven't. I mean, I know certain lines from it, but I've never seen it.
Oh, no. I cannot believe you have not seen don't be ridiculous.
I'm serious. I haven't seen it. I don't want to see anything with Stiller anymore because he's another fucking science.
No. It's so frigging stupid, but it is so ridiculously funny.
I'm sure.
And there are things in it that are just
the whole idea.
Also, he has his dad in it.
Yeah, well, I love Jerry. I mean, how could you?
Exactly. He's great in it too. So,
what democracy with the $4.99? My friend Hussam in Gaza is a med student. Would love to be interviewed. Can I give you his email? Absolutely.
I already told him. Well,
okay, send it to us. Send it to us.
Sure.
Absolutely. And no shame, Abe, with the fight. See, I got that one quick, Jen. I got that one quick. No shame, Abe, with the $5. Toking for Jen without Peter to celebrate Rathbone birthday.
Rathbone. You say Roth like it's an O. It's not. It's an A.
Rathbone.
It's Rathbone. And thank you for toking, and you could toke on my behalf too, because I am in a hotel room. So this is the thing about being in a hotel room. Kind of sucks in that way.
Indeed.
I don't have a balcony.
The idea that there is a ceasefire, I don't even really want to talk about it because we all know it's bullshit. It's not going to last. It never does. It's always a sleight of hand. It's always a misdirect. This is exactly what is happening. Trump announces, well, listen, there's a ceasefire in Lebanon and voices confidence and Iran deal will follow. Yes, totally. It's going to follow.
Because he's so desperate.
Yeah. A pause in hostilities between Israel and Hezbollah. The Iran-backed paramilitary Hezbollah, the Iran-backed paramilitary group in Lebanon, could help pave the way for a peace deal with Tehran. You want to go back and forth?
Well, I mean, we could, I don't know how long the article is. We could read the points here. So, ceasefire deal. U.S. President Donald Trump announced a 10-day ceasefire in Lebanon that would pause fighting between Israel and Iran-backed Hezbollah beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Netanyahu said Zio-held forces will not withdraw from southern Lebanon as they observe the truce.
And there it is.
And a leading Hezbollah official warned the group reserves the right to respond to the attacks. So already we're saying there's a ceasefire, but Israel's not going to withdraw their troops. So
there is no ceasefire.
Not a ceasefire. It's just
flurry of diplomacy. Trump said a White House meeting between Israel and Lebanon could take place within 2 weeks. Yeah, because, no fighting will happen over the course of that time. The conflict with Hezbollah has been a key sticking point in negotiations on the U.S.-Iran war. Trump voiced confidence Thursday, of course, that a deal with Tehran will come soon, saying another round of talks could take place this weekend.
U.S. military activity. U.S. officials said troops in West Asia are rearming and stand ready to resume combat if Iran negotiations fail. The U.S. is maintaining a naval blockade in the region. Yeah, not going so well.
Unbelievable.
Iran's parliament speaker says Tehran will approach Israel-Lebanon ceasefire with caution, as well they ought to. See, the Iranians don't believe a word that comes out of our lying, filthy mouths. The only reason that the Iranians go to the talks is because it's for their own people to know that they're at least doing what they could do. But they know they can't talk to us. They specifically said they don't want to talk to Kushner and Witkoff until we send them back. Well, no, but we send them back, and we send them with little JD puppet Vance who can't get through an entire negotiation meeting without calling his sugar daddy BB on the phone.
I mean,
so the Iranians were there to negotiate.
I mean, you want to talk about an absolute embarrassment. I mean, you want to talk about a faceplant of like ruining whatever chances you thought you had at running for president proportions.
Why
Like,
do you
that's
think
how-
they sent him? Why do you think they sent him?
Well, I think that I don't even know if it's necessarily that they think Vance is a lightweight. I think that they just don't trust him enough that he will fully be on board with continuing the Israel first policies that they know that Rubio will absolutely continue with. And I think that that's what it really comes
So I just think that Vance is a sacrificial. They don't give a fuck either way. He's collateral. I think that he was somebody that the Iranians have not yet been offended by, so that was safe. He went there with zero authority to negotiate, which is the most pussy thing you could fucking do, because the Iranians came to do business. Not one of them had to pick up and make a phone call.
Yeah, really.
They actually had the authority to negotiate. By the way, anything I say regarding that is directly from Professor Morandi, okay? Because that's my source. That is who I trust.
Reveal your source, but hey.
Everybody knows Professor Morandi. Everybody watches him. Well, they should if you don't. So I know that the Iranians were there ready to negotiate and had the authority to do so. And JD Vance is there with his two little babysitters, Kushner and Witkoff, and had to keep leaving the room to make calls. Then they left the room saying, we're going to resume talks. And then they just left and never came back. That's what happened.
The fact that the vice president of the United States is dealing directly with Netanyahu Milikowski, like, bless you, that he is the boss. I mean, what does that not say? It can't be more obvious. They're all dog walked.
I agree. I agree, Travers. He is. Travers, are you bearded? I didn't picture that. Anyway.
And I also want to put another thing out there, that if you truly think there is any chance,
love me some Nima.
If you think that there is any chance that there is actually a ceasefire, period, just remember, this is Israel right now in southern Lebanon, and this is how they're treating people. This is how they're treating civilians. They are using
wait a minute. Are these Lebanese people in a garbage truck?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure it's Lebanon. Or southern, was someplace in southern Lebanon. And they are keeping them like cattle inside a dump truck. A dump truck. They're so damn proud of themselves. They really are. Which is, like I said, you know, our objective here in the States is that we have to continue. And this is why the whole idea, I mean, again, I understand you don't want to be on Capitol Hill, but to me, the whole point of having a conduit, you know, having relationships with people on the Hill is there. It's the eye of the hurricane. It's a central meeting place. It's where people understand where things are. More and more people need to understand that this is what is going on. And this is how we're involved. And I don't care if the reason that people say we shouldn't be involved in Israel anymore is because they don't want their tax dollars going there. Whatever the reason is that rallies the most amount of people so we can break their stranglehold, that's all that matters to me. That's really
Wanker Tanker, these people are worse than Nazis. They're worse than Nazis. They are. So take that how you want.
Just tries to get up and get off. He's like, Chuck, get down. Let me show you how tough I am.
That's all this is. All this is an exercise in shame and embarrassment. That's all they're trying to do is demean them. That's what this is about. There's no logical reason for this.
No.
There's no logical. There's no safety reason. There's no nothing. This is literally just to dehumanize, demean, embarrass them. That's what it's for.
Correct.
Even this, or this, I don't know what we're showing.
Say that again.
We need to know the background of this video, because I feel like we shouldn't be showing this if you don't know what it is exactly that we're showing. Clearly, there's a bunch of people in a garbage truck.
Give me 1 second.
We don't know where.
Will you hang on a minute, please? Disturbing
I am.
footage. Excuse me. I was mistaken. Disturbing Israeli footage of 60 Palestinians being inhumanely crammed and transported into Israeli custody using a waste disposal rubbish truck. That's what they're doing. Now,
Thank you, Joey. Oh, yeah, they're not Lebanese. I don't know how you can tell from the picture, but
no, I had misread one of the clips. So
no, not you. I'm surprised that he knew that they were. Maybe he saw the story, but
yeah. Well, again,
it doesn't matter who it is either. Like, it doesn't really matter who it is, because there's really nobody that should be being in that. Like,
this is how they. And again, if some people died in there, who cares? Who cares? I want them all dead. They're just, yeah.
Israel's a shithole. Imagine living there surrounded by Israelis. Jay, I had to leave Florida because there are too many Israelis. So, no, I can't be in the same state as those people. I can't. I'll get high.
Get rid of all of them.
All of them. Make them go away. Make them go away. I think we should send them to Epstein's Island. Epstein likes them. I'm sure they'd be welcome there.
Well, you think he's still around? Maybe he is.
I do. Epstein's not dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell's not in prison. And you know, if people want to think that, all the power to him. I never believed he was dead in the first place, and I surely don't believe it now. And whoever that was that they paraded to pretending to be her at that hearing that wasn't her. So I don't know, but no. So yeah, no, Epstein is probably still on Epstein's Island. Maybe alternates between there and Tel Aviv, although Tel Aviv doesn't seem so safe. But yeah, I think Jeffrey Epstein lives on Jeffrey Epstein's Island.
Again, whatever will happen after we get them out of our crosshairs.
I have been to Zio Hell. I spent a summer there in 1987. And I have been there. I have family there. And yeah.
More and more people that are from that world either have broken away from it or denounce it. That's good. We need more. Don't have enough. We also don't have enough Christian Zionists that have broken away yet. But I do think that is also coming. And a lot of people are starting to see through it. You know, we've had Casey Malone as a guest who's from Oklahoma, who was in one of the Christian Zionist evangelical churches. You know, these things take time, unfortunately. But like I said, when I was sitting in the Senate chamber and I was listening to Senator Kennedy from Louisiana talk about how it was such a great idea to attack Iran.
Yeah.
It's not a question of whether the American people are against it. It's a question of who we are being legislated and governed by. We're being governed by completely corrupt people.
I will say this, and I've said this before for people who have heard me talk about when I was in Israel. 87, the first Intifada was in the fall of 87, and I was there the summer before that. So when I was there were not yet the visible signs. There weren't separate highways. There wasn't the apartheid wall. There weren't visible signs of an apartheid state. That didn't come until after the first Intifada. So it was less insane. It was less rabid. And the people that I met that were serving were just normal people serving. There wasn't this bloodlust. It wasn't like that. And I'm not saying that the project isn't inherently evil, because it is. But the people that were serving were not rabid like they are now. What has happened specifically since 2014, since Bibi came back into power, was a lot of the more moderate, rational people left. And so the people that really stayed behind with this current administration are your more right-wing, fascist, rabid Zios. So that naturally happens, sort of like we've watched the transition in this country to what we're looking at. It's happened there too. So at one point, there were more reasonable, more moderate people in Israel. There were. The entire project was still wrong. But now it's just, they need to be put down like a rabid dog.
Well, we're going to try to do our best to ensure that we can help make that happen. That is our job. And why is that possible? Because, as we have pointed out, the more Israelis get out and about around the world, they are finding that they are not really accepted. And when they try and go and hide in places where they stick out like sore thumbs because they don't look like the natives there, they have kind of distinct looks and they also have a distinct tongue. So when somebody picks up on it, like a couple of visiting Brits in Vietnam, of all places, this is something that was just brought to our attention earlier today. This is yet another example of what the Israelis are going to face now and probably for the rest of their lives, and I have zero sympathy for them whatsoever.
Palestine? Sorry? It's difficult?
I don't think they're from Palestine.
You're not from Palestine? I thought because you had the tattoo that you were from Palestine. So you're from Palestine. You speak Arabic? Sorry? Oh, right, you're Israeli. Ah, right. Right. Fake state of Israel.
It doesn't exist. Israel doesn't exist.
So did you join
the part of the IDF, the IOF? Were you part of the IOF, the IDF? Were you part of it? Did you kill innocent civilians? Did you kill innocent women and children? Did you murder them? Did you murder them? I don't care. Did you kill innocent? Were you part of the IDF? Did you kill innocent civilians in Palestine? Did you? I don't care. You murderers. You're murderers.
You're monsters.
I didn't murder anyone. Were you part of the IDF? Well, everyone is part of the IDF. Yeah, so then you're a murderer.
Yeah.
You're a murderer.
Yeah. You can refuse to be in the IDF. You can refuse it.
I want to eat my horrible people.
Well,
no one gives a flying fuck if you want to eat your lunch or if you enjoy it.
Exactly, Mehdi. I was thinking that too. How dare she have a Palestinian tattoo? Honestly, also, as somebody who was raised Jewish, you know, tattoos are not allowed. Tattoos are not allowed. So the fact that a Jewish Israeli has a Palestinian tattoo it's very, very telling. It's very telling. She's about as Jewish as a ham sandwich. And yet she sits there like with this righteousness of what she is. Unbelievable.
You should also notice the facial expressions coming from this guy. You know, getting a little snarky there. Hey, kudos to the Brits. You know, like I said, it's not, even though the British government leaves a lot to be desired, it's not like the people are fully on board with this shit. And here they are in Vietnam, just hanging out, you know, thinking everything's all hunky-dory. And like I said, I'm not saying that there's going to be blood oaths taken out against all of them, but they're not going to have a moment's peace. And nor should they ever again.
She got a Palestinian tattoo. Stupid.
We want to save humanity. We don't want to
happen in Palestine.
Yeah. Shameful.
How can you eat vegan food, not supporting this murder of animals? No, you don't support the murder of animals. It does. I'm explaining myself to you. You don't support the murder of animals. I don't want you to talk. I'm stupid because I don't.
No, they need to shut up. Because they're murderers. They murder children. They murder children. They're part of the occupation. They're part of Israel. They're part of the occupation. You need to stay out. Shameful. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're monsters. You're savage. You're savages. You're monsters. You're monsters. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you.
You're making me distracted.
Do you know about Tom Hundell? Do you know about Tom Hundell? The British journalist, 23-year-old? You shot him in the head. You killed him. Do you know about Rachel Corrie? Do you know about Rachel Corrie? You know about you bulldozed Rachel Corrie and killed a young lady from America? You're a shameful nation. You're shameful.
Murderers. Oh, now they're going to cry. I didn't have my lunch in peace.
Oh dear, victim.
I don't feel safe.
Noah, that's how things get done in some places. And unfortunately, more places than not do tend to show a little more grace than maybe you or I would. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm with that. Because they're being way nice as far as I'm concerned. And I'm wondering, where the fuck is the owner? Where the fuck is the owner? And not telling them to get the fuck out. They're disturbing everything.
Because we're just goyim, aren't we? We're just goyim. We're just worthless animals. Shameful. Viva Iran.
Boom, boom, Tel Aviv. This is what you get
for all your evil deeds. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, Tel Aviv. This is what you get for all your evil deeds.
What you don't understand, dickhead, is that this is not going to stop. It's going to happen as long as you're there eating, and then it's going to happen everywhere else because, again, they just don't get it. They really don't.
They don't have to, as long as everybody keeps doing it. Yeah, no, you're ruining her whole lunch.
And she's going to go home and cry about it and complain about it. They were blaming me like I did something
Palestinian
wrong.
tattoo on her Jewish body. Whatever.
Yeah, it is ridiculous. Killing children is ridiculous. Killing children is ridiculous. Do you oppose genocide? Do you oppose it? Say you oppose it. Say you're against Netanyahu. Say you're against Netanyahu. What about Ben Gvir?
Okay, we got the opinion, okay? Now can you shut the fuck up?
No, don't you dare.
Ooh.
You knew that the princess is always the one that's going to blink first because they have zero.
Well, he's going to let her do the talking for him because he's just a little cuck.
Tell us to shut the fuck up. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You are ashamed. You are monsters. You're monsters. You're savages. You're monsters. Yeah. Shameful.
Now can you shut up?
No.
Yeah, go get lost.
Run away. Like the Palestinians run to try and live every day.
Well, now the Israelis are getting bombed.
I hope Israel falls.
Everywhere you go, you are going to be hated.
Yes, you will. But they won't be coming near me.
Everywhere you go, you will be hated.
And you'll have nowhere to go because there will be no Israel.
Correct.
So you will be people with no nationality. You will eventually get what you've expected the Palestinians to live for.
And I also want you to keep in mind.
They're going to have no nationality. They'll have no passport. Yeah. They'll have nothing. They'll be stateless.
This is all I also want to be very clear about Argentina. What you have to remember about Milei is that he is running that country into the ground. And if he continues down this warpath, especially with everybody knowing that the Israelis are not only coming there, but they're getting a shitload of money, let me tell you, you want to know where a revolution is going to happen? It's going to happen in Argentina. That's
I don't know. They might like them there. I mean, look, Milei and Netanyahu are cousins. They're first cousins.
I didn't know that.
Milei is short for Milikowski.
Well, I knew that. I didn't realize. I thought it was just a theory that they were related.
No, his father and Netanyahu's father are brothers.
Wow.
And so when I say that, like, the rot, the Nazi Zio rot runs very deep in Argentina. And while that does suck for Argentinians that are not party to that, Argentinians are the white supremacists of South America. They are. They are. They've always been. I, as someone who grew up in Miami, I have known people from every friggin' country, maybe not Suriname, in South America. And without fail, the Argentinians think they are the most supreme, and because they're white, and they are very, very superior to the other South Americans. So it does make sense that they would kind of be in line with European white supremacists, because at the end of the day, the Argentinians are Europeans. They're white, they're Europeans. Most of the people there, came from Europe, and they find themselves to be much better and more sophisticated than the brown people in South America that they're next to. So I think that they deserve each other. I do feel bad if there are Argentinians, but
no argument.
There you go, you are hated. Nobody likes you. Nobody. Go on, go away.
Kick them out.
Go. 110 countries you've been thrown out. 110 countries. Yeah, we feel good. Yeah.
You feel amazing?
By killing children?
Civilians?
Shameful.
Do you feel good?
Yeah.
I'm trying mine as well. Unfortunately, you guys are everywhere.
Absolute disgrace. You're a disgrace.
Murderer.
Go on, look at them. Look at the rats running away. Go on.
I want to know where these ladies are from. I want to know where they're from. It sounds Australian, but I don't know.
They say they're from the UK. That's what they.
Oh, UK. All right. Well,
that's what I heard.
Sorry if I offended UK people and thinking they were Australian, but good for them. Good for them. That other lady's just sort of sitting there pretending this isn't happening. Like, yeah, I'm not participating.
Just observing and observing that the collapse is happening.
They don't need to go anywhere. We don't need them anywhere. They can go away.
No, but they are also going to end up in South Florida. But
not my problem. No longer my
problem. Let them all go there. That's where they'll all end up. And this is, again, just another example of what is going to become a common theme. We can't cover all of them, but you get the idea, because we do cover it at least once a show, with how much worse things are getting for them. As it should. It shouldn't have taken this long, but now it's becoming commonplace. For the last time this evening, we have a handful of additional super chats that we need to get to before we go. So let's give some big shout outs. Pirate Justin with the $2. I'm late. Here's my penance.
Thank you, Pirate Justin.
No Shame Abe with another $5 contribution. Real talk. This is all about preventing Iran from getting nukes, which would permanently dismantle Greater Israel Project. Hail chat. Well, I think at this point, I
think that's what it's about for Zio Hell, but I don't think that's all what it's about for us.
Well, now I think for certain that Iran's going to have them, and that'll be that. So
they need to, apparently.
Pirate Justin with the $2 again. Y'all still in DC? I was there last Wednesday to Sunday. We are here for one more day. And it'll be fun. Haven't figured out yet, but we'll see. And this life is short with the $1.99. Thank you. Much love for your support of Palestine. And last but certainly not least, Dolores Garneau with the $20 super chat. Thank you for exposing the Southern Kennedy, who will never be Sam Ervin despite his attempts.
I guess that's who your rep was before. Is that who they had? Is Sam Ervin? I mean, the name is familiar.
Remember, Louisiana.
I didn't realize there was a Southern Kennedy. That seems weird to me.
Well, Sam Ervin was a senator, I believe, in the 50s through 70s. He is a Southern Democrat. But, he may have done some things during his Senate career. Again, this is the problem. Ervin was at first a staunch defender of Jim Crow laws and racial segregation. As the South's constitutional expert during the congressional debates on civil rights. However, He is remembered for his work in the investigation committees that brought down Senator Joe McCarthy in 1954. Very interesting. And yes, I would have no doubt that McCarthy is, or Kennedy. These guys don't care about anything. And the country used to be different many, many moons ago. But again, when Kennedy died, the country died with him. I'm talking about the real Kennedy, not this fake shit kicker in Louisiana. Israel whore as well. Red team 23 with the 499. God bless. And to you, sir. I want to thank you all for coming on this evening. Obviously, this is unexpected. We had an event and we decided to do a late show. The audience still turned out in earnest, which is great. You guys always come through in the
I feel bad about cutting into Punch Up Pod. You guys know that I don't like to do that.
Go over to Punch Up Pod right now if you can. Smash I like
know that they're still there now. No, they're done. They're probably off now.
No, it's only 8 o'clock where they are.
No, but they go from 9:30 to 11 on Thursdays. So
okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
I do feel bad about that.
Well, go check out Punch Up Pod after this if you've hung around the whole time and you want to go watch the replay, which is also important. So
Yes.
smash that like button, share, subscribe, do all those things we ask you to do. We love you all. We appreciate you all. I will be here at 7 p.m. from South Florida, Eastern Standard Time on Saturday. Thank you all, and free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
Good night, guys.